by yourself?
Yes, I can try. My name is Soren, and I have been a teacher at IPC for 21 years. And 15 of these years I was the principal at IPC. So I stepped down approximately 1 year ago. Yeah. And I have been a big hobby in my life has been music. So I've been playing and singing all my life, more or less. So I'm a music teacher, but also I came to IPC as a drama teacher, and I have taught English, I have taught sports and many different subjects. And before coming to IPC, I was a professional singer and actor for 15 years. And before that, I worked as a teacher, teaching drama and teaching music. So drama, music, and singing has been very important in my life. This is also something that I still do after being retired. I still sing a lot and play the piano and write songs and so on. So this will never stop for me.
Your playing with piano is so great. I saw you Instagram or something.
Okay.
So first question. What is your favorite color and why?
My favorite color? Yes. I think my favorite color is green. And why? I just like looking at green. It's soothing for my eyes. And then if I start thinking about it, you also have, green is the color of nature. It's the color of spring, very much in Denmark. And I enjoy so much when the dark Danish winter ends, and when the leaves reappear in May and everything turns green. It's like my mind is feeling so good about the color of green. Also, green represents hope. It's the color of hope. So that is maybe also a part of my thinking in relation to this color. But really, it's just an emotional thing. Green is nice for me.
What did you love to do as a child?
I had a lot of hobbies. I grew up in a wonderful and peaceful neighborhood. And I had a lot of freedom to play around with my mates, and we were in the forest playing, and in the winter time we were sleighing down the hills in the forest, and in the summertime we were catching butterflies at the meadows, and I was fishing a lot when I was a kid. I was a collector of stamps when I was a kid. And then of course music little by little became very important. But I was also a Boy Scout, and I also did sports, played handball, which is very big in Denmark. Handball was invented in Denmark. Yeah. So and I was the goalkeeper, and I even made it to the national team as a kid. So I enjoyed that very much. So I think I had a very active childhood, and my parents allowed me to do a lot as long as I was doing well in school. They gave me the freedom to, have all these hobbies and sports and so on. So I think of my childhood as something very safe and very happy. And I know that I'm very privileged for having that. I was also brought up in a family I have 3 brothers and a very caring and present-minded parents. So there was a lot of love around me and so on. And this is not a privilege for everybody to have such a childhood. So I'm very aware of that and very also very thankful for that.
Yeah. What did you want to be when you were younger?
I wanted to be a rock star.
Oh.
So that was my big dream. And already when I was 13 years old, I made my first band. So I started playing a band, very, very primitive, because we didn't have a lot of equipment and so on. But little by little, I played with other bands and got better at playing my instrument and singing and so on. So this became very important for me, and I was very ambitious. Yeah.
Good. When you think of your education, how do you feel?
I feel good about it. I was very happy for my primary school years. Relatively free school system in Denmark. The possibility of choosing creative subjects, so music and so on. And again, I think of my teachers in primary school as teachers who were not very strict, but very understanding, but also demanding. They also said you have to learn something and you have to do your homework and so on. And I was not a very good student. Yeah, I was bright enough, so I understood what happened, but I was not always good at making my homework on time and so on. But still, I had a good time in school, and I think I learned a lot. Then I went to high school after 10 years in primary school. High school and I was 15, 16 years old at that time. And that's for 3 years in Danish high school. We call it gymnasium in Denmark. And there, of course, the level went considerably up, and it required more reading, more studying, and so on. And I enjoyed that time very much. I also met my girlfriend, who's now my wife, in high school. Yeah, so we studied together. And I think that my high school years were the years where I learned the most about grammar, about mathematics, about languages, and so on.
Music too?
Also music, yes. Yes, I had music as one of my major subjects in high school.
You can take a major in high school?
You have the possibility of choosing different lines in the Danish, and nowadays you can choose many more lines than in my time. I think in my time, you chose between two main lines, either a mathematical line with physics and chemistry and mathematics, or a language-oriented line with focus on languages and so on, humanistics. And I chose the language one, and there I could choose music as one of the subjects. Yeah. So I was in the language line with a focus on music.
How do you think people should feel in a classroom?
It's a very big question, and it will probably take me a long time to answer the question. First of all, I think a classroom is not necessarily a place with tables and chairs and the traditional classroom. A classroom can be and should be a variation of different settings, because different kinds of learning also depends on the kind of setting you have. So it's important, if you want to study music, that you have a proper music classroom with instruments and good acoustics and the possibility of listening to music and so on. But I think for students very important that they feel safe,
Yeah.
that they don't feel that they should perform all the time, because learning is not performing for me. Learning should be without the pressure of performing. It's okay that you have a long period in classrooms where you learn stuff, and then in the end there's a kind of examination. That is fine, but the learning process should be without, I have to get it right. Every answer has to be right. I think it's very important that you are allowed to make mistakes, because that's where you learn the most, right? So any classroom with too much focus on being correct all the time is counterproductive for learning for me, because people get afraid, and when you're afraid, you are not you don't learn as well. You learn when you are positively motivated to learn. When you think, wow, this is interesting. Okay, I learned this, but then you can ask the question, but why this? And why this? You become curious about what you're learning, interested, engaged, maybe even in love with what you learn about. So if you are emotionally engaged with whatever subject or theme or that you learn about, then your learning process is a better one. If your only reason for learning is marks, grades, and exams and performance, then whatever you learn, it might come in, but it will also very quickly go out again. And just learning by reading from a book or listening to a teacher and making notes, you can only do that for a certain amount of time. It's basically like if you put gasoline on a car, right? You can say, okay, now I have a lot of gasoline, there's a lot to learn, so I will just keep pouring for 2 hours, but at some point it overspills. There's not space for more. So it's the same thing with learning, right? So if you want to learn a lot, it's not only a question of having more hours in the classroom or studying more. It's actually about creating the right environment for that learning process.
What is the point of education?
There are many important reasons for education. If I go to the hospital, it's important for me to know that the doctor is well educated and that he knows exactly what he's doing, right? So it's very important that you learn certain skills and certain knowledge to be able to fulfill your responsibility in your work-life career. So that is, of course, one important aspect of learning. But if you look at education in a broader sense, as we see it in Denmark in general, then it's also about who you are as a person and how you see the world and how you respond to the world, to your teachers, to your classmates, to authorities, and so on. You have to learn to interact in a constructive and positive way. So we also call it formative education, where you learn not only about subjects and certain skills, but you also learn important lessons about life and about who you are as a person. What are your qualities? What are you good at? What are you less good at? And how can you improve the points where you are not so good, for example. So learning about who you are and what is important for you, what motivates you, is important. And good education, especially in primary school, should include these issues. And then I think it's very important that you are also brought up in a democratic society, that you have a voice, and that your voice is heard. That you learn how to voice your opinion, and that you appreciated, but it will be taken seriously. Right? So this formative education, where you learn to act as an active citizen, in a democracy, is important. It's not easy, and students cannot always be a part of the decision-making process. There are rules in schools that are defined by the teachers and headmasters and so on, but the students should also have a say. And that is very embedded in the Danish way of thinking education, more than in many other cultures, I would say. So I think if you compare the average Danish student in a primary school with students from most other countries, they will be more talkative, more capable of voicing their opinion about different issues. I hope so. I'm not 100% sure, but I think so. And I think in the end it's a good thing, because our democratic society in Denmark is very much based on trust, that we can trust each other. And an important aspect of trust is respect. And respect is not only what students towards teachers or headmasters, or it's also the other way. It's also the teachers respecting the students. And it's okay that the teachers know better in many different ways, and they are adult people, and we should learn from them. But still, they should respect the viewpoint of the student, to be able to motivate the student and not create fear, basically.
Yeah, so I want to learn democracy in Denmark. So yeah, I have a good experience to learn democracy.
Yeah.
So
That's good.
yeah, that's what I
Have you felt that at IPC?
Especially not in IPC, but I feel I got an experience to talk many Denmark people.
Yeah.
So I feel it's democracy. So but yeah, so it's very difficult to stay here feel democracy in IPC.
Yeah. Okay. So you didn't feel that there was democracy in your classroom, in your everyday life at school?
It depends on teachers, of course, and it depends on classrooms. So
Yeah.
I feel sometimes all democracy, but sometimes is it okay or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think democracy is not only one aspect. So democracy has so many aspects. So it's okay. So I feel in Japan we don't have democracy. I feel like so it's very top to down, and government do deal very pressure to us for worker. Yeah, I don't like that democracy, but it's Japanese democracy. I feel now.
Yeah, and it's difficult to change. I mean, it can be changed over time, maybe, but it's a long process, I guess. Yeah. But I know that if you talk to people from Belgium, a European country, they will say the same, that their educational system is not very democratic, and it's a little bit old-fashioned somehow. So I think it's the case not only in Japan, but in so many other countries.
That's true. Yeah. So I feel that one in IPC.
Yeah, exactly. But it's also important to say that democracy and the sense of democracy and the democratic processes in education is important, but it's always difficult.
Yes.
It's always difficult. And you never reach the perfect democracy. So even though I think we have come far in Denmark in relation to this issue in education, we still have a long way to go. And we have so many things to learn, and we can still learn important lessons also from Japanese way of thinking education. And there are so many things embedded in, for me as I see it, in Japanese culture, and the way that you guys interact with each other, which is very respectful and very caring. And I think we can learn a lot from that.
Oh,
yes. I also really like that you have a lot of respect for the elderly. Of course, elderly people are not always right?
Yes.
But if you look at the Danish society, young people don't listen to the elderly people. They don't acknowledge the kind of experience, life experience that elderly people have, and that is sad. Yeah. So also there we can learn something from Japanese culture, I think.
Yeah, but I feel Generation Z is like that.
Yeah.
In Japan too.
Yes.
Yeah, almost. So Generation Z is same in the world. So they can change their world immediately. So I feel same things
Yes.
in Japan too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I know that. But for me, it's just important to say that I don't have all the right answers. You know, and Denmark doesn't have all the right answers. We have some good ideas, and I think the whole idea of folk high schools, a learning space without the pressure of exams and grades and marks and so on, and a focus on how you live your life, and who you are as a person, and the building of personality and identity and so on. I think that's a very good idea. Yes. But it's not perfect. It is not perfect. Yeah. So I don't want to sound like I hope that it doesn't sound like I know everything or I'm so wise, because I'm not. My time as a teacher and my time as a principal at IPC has been one long learning process. And every day I have learned new things about my colleagues, about students, about classroom situations, about how to solve different problems and so on. And I've made many mistakes.
I feel mistake is not so bad.
No.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. Mistakes should be good.
Yeah.
Not when you are the responsible doctor or making a surgery or something. Mistakes are not good, right? But in the learning process, yes, allow us to make mistakes, because when we can do that, acknowledge, oh, this was wrong. What is right then? Then you start asking questions. And that's what good education is about. Curiosity and about asking questions. And wondering, oh, why is it in this way and in that way and not in that way? You know, to be able to ask all these questions, the more questions, the better.
And what makes your heart sing? What makes your heart happy?
Music
Oh.
makes my heart happy. Smiles and positive interactions with other people. Nature very often makes me happy and peaceful. So these are important aspects. I feel happy when I feel safe. So I also the moments where I feel happy the most, it would be with my family usually, because they are the people that I care about the most. And if they feel good, and if we have a good, nice and free interaction, it's joyful for me. And I'm talking my family in a broader sense. It's my own little family, my wife and our children and grandchildren. But it's also the relation for me to my brothers, my cousins. I don't have my grandparents anymore, but I was very close with my grandparents, and I have happy memories of my time with my grandparents. So this solid base where you feel safe, and where you feel accepted and loved, gives me a feeling of happiness. Yeah. And also here I know that this is not for everybody. I mean, not everybody has a happy childhood or a well-functioning, loving family. It's not easy. But it's something to strive for, it's something to fight for. And I will do that.
So last question. How has IPC changed, affected you?
It has affected me in many ways. The first thing I will mention is that my perspective on the world has been broadened a lot. So I feel that I have a stronger knowledge or sense of other cultures than before coming to IPC. And I have learned that my way of thinking and the Danish way of thinking is not always the right one. That many different things can be seen from another perspective, just as valid, just as important as my perspective. Right? And this is what I think is most important about IPC, is that you learn to see the world from other perspectives.
Yeah, totally.
Because if you know that, and if you realize that that is the case, then the world is a much richer place, and we can inspire each other. So this is probably the most important aspect. And then IPC has also been a place for me where I could develop as a person, from being a teacher, teaching music and drama, to becoming a principal, where you have a leader's role, but still a leader's role in a very small democracy, right? So I have not, of course I make decisions being the principal, but I would usually make my decision based on consensus and agreement among my colleagues, very often also including the students and so on. So this balance between being a leader who has a final say in many situations and maintaining an openness to use different from my own, different ways of solving different problems that I didn't think about, but others were more clever than I was, and then I will listen and we try to come with good solutions. So I have also been able to have, this has also been a place for me to develop as a leader and as a person, I would say, to be able to listen and to keep listening, even though sometimes it's much more easy to say, no more discussion, this is what we do. And I also sometimes feel that, democracy is very slow and very troublesome, and a lot of discussion and disagreement and so on. And sometimes all this disagreement and discussion and so on can also create conflicts, right? So it's not easy. but it has been a good learning point. And then last thing I would say about what I have learned or what I got from IPC, I saw a lot of love around. I have felt a lot of love in my relations to students and to my colleagues. And first and foremost, I've seen a lot of love and growth among the students. And that for me has been a big reward, and something that has been very important for me. I've kept that in my heart, and I still do. And I have at home a box with all the letters that I have received from students over the years. And that is very, it's a big treasure for me. I don't think teachers in most school systems receive so many nice letters and grateful thoughts shared. So that has been very touching and very moving for me. Yeah. And it's been a big joy for me to, when I lived in the principal's house, the kitchen window is towards the school, and every day I would be cooking or washing up and so on, and just seeing students interacting, enjoying themselves, building friendships and all of these things. And it's been such a joy simply to observe. And I'm fully aware that what the students gain at IPC, the most important thing is the relationships between the students and everything that they share and so on. We are facilitators of a process, but the magic happens between the students.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for doing.
Today was